Asking what the United States government knows about extraterrestrials, that's a complex question. And the reason for that is that it's my own opinion that over the last number of decades and generations, most of the UFO secret has gone into private control. I would say beyond the US government. But let's rewind the clock and go back in history. So I think the way that this whole thing started, let's go back to the 1940s. And let us assume, as I believe, that there were several retrievals of exotic alien technology, including at Roswell, but not only at Roswell. So in the late 1940s, my opinion is that the secrecy was paramount from the perspective of the United States government. They had to, for several reasons. One is, they did not want to share this technology with the rest of the world because this is revolutionary technology. Reason number two is, if they were to admit that this came into their possession, they would have thousands of questions coming at them immediately, questions that they would not know how to answer. People wanting to know, do we have anything to be afraid of? Who are these other beings? Well, surely the United States military and government did not know what they were dealing with. It would be a nightmare to try to explain all this. Thirdly, the revolutionary implications of the energy system. I think a child can understand that an object that can instantly accelerate, that can do zigzags in the sky, is not using petroleum, it's not using gasoline to get around. Whatever it's using is something better than that. And so that implicit in the UFO solution is a post-petroleum society. It revolutionizes our entire infrastructure. So the secrecy, for that and many other reasons, had to get into place immediately. They had to create an illegal structure of secrecy. In other words, to pay for the scientific research and development, to pay for the attempts to replicate the technology, to control the media, to control the universities, to control the scientific community, to create underground facilities to study this. All of this is expensive, costs a lot of money. So you have to create what we call a black budget. You have to pay for it with a lot of money that the public cannot know about. And part of the way they pay for it is through illegal activities like banking fraud and narco trafficking and the like. All of this goes in. So what happens though is that this secret becomes profitable. Scientists make breakthroughs, they make revolutionary discoveries, and people start making money off of these breakthroughs. And at that point, we have to ask ourselves, where does this secret go? Does it stay within the military? Does it stay within the government? Or does it go into private hands like Lockheed and General Dynamics and Raytheon and Boeing and the major defense contractors that have preponderant power over US government? Because the people who own those companies are the people who also are involved in banking, and they're the people who determine US policy on a lot of things. So what has happened, I believe, is that this black budget community has become so advanced that it is what I often call a breakaway civilization. That their technology has become revolutionary ahead of ours, classified so that we are not permitted to pursue those technologies, and they have broken away in a situation that is primarily privatized. It's a little bit private, it's a little bit public. It's mostly private. They use the black budget for their own benefit. They use the United States military as their personal security force, as their own police force. So the question is, where does the secret go? Does Barack Obama have the UFO secret? I'll guess that he doesn't. Did George W. Bush before him have the UFO secret? I'm going to guess no. I had a long conversation on one occasion with a retired, very senior, very brilliant man of the CIA. This is all off the record. One question, and this is a man who knew former President Ronald Reagan fairly well. And one thing I asked this man was, how much do US presidents know about UFOs? It's an obvious question. And his answer was interesting. He said to me, some have known more than others. He said, think of it this way. Presidents come and go. They're here for 4 years or maybe 8 years, and then they're gone. Some are reliable, some are not reliable. Some drink, some we don't really trust. He said, the bureaucrats who run this program, we're here forever. And so presidents are not always equally let in on this secret. That's what he said to me. I believe him. So the idea is, you let them know as much as they're allowed to know. And you think about a president or any national leader, what do they really do? They have to kiss the babies, they have to run for office, they have to get in front of the cameras, they have to look pretty, they have to meet foreign dignitaries. What they really are is a sales representative. They're a face, and they have to be the face of a nation, they have to be the face of a political structure. And they do not have time, they literally do not have the time to manage, especially in the United States, they don't have the time to manage the hundreds and thousands of secret programs that are going on every single day. There's not enough time in the day. So they have to just let it go. And in particular, the UFO program, this is something where if they were to be briefed on this, that's dangerous. I mean, that's a dangerous thing. So I think it's been decided for many, many years that for the most part, presidents are really not going to be brought into this. And one of the questions that many of us researchers are asking is, where exactly is this secret being held? And I'm not sure we all have the answer. I think it's in private financial hands. So to answer your question, how much does the US government know about UFOs? I would say that there are groups that know a lot, but that the formal government structures, if they have that secret, it's in very restricted circles. It's in a very restricted, narrow circle.